Okay, so after last week's little debacle, shall I say, where I watched and reviewed a movie, a classic movie, that was recommended. I usually do a vote. I put two films up online and get people to vote for which one. And last week I watched Saturday Night Fever, and with everything that's going on, it actually turned out to be quite an emotional movie. Go back and watch that video, you'll understand what I mean. So this week I decided to not do a vote. I just thought, do you know what? I'm just going to pick a movie. I'm going to try and find one that I can assume is going to be, a good time and, emotionally a lot more uplifting than what I had to go through last week. So this week I went with Flash Gordon from 1980, and let me tell you, absolutely crazy movie. And yeah, I really enjoyed it for maybe not the right reasons.
Oh, Johnny, thank Christ you made it.
Dude, I got 10 minutes. Where's Flash Gordon?
Okay, get ready. Hey, Sam, this is the guy I was telling you about.
So yeah, Flash Gordon, I mean, it's really hard to try and explain this movie. If you was to try and explain this movie to someone that has never seen it, I don't know if I have the words. Batshit crazy, pardon my French, would be one of them. Very Technicolor, all round, probably very disturbing, but at the same time, very, very enjoyable. It's really, really difficult. I'm gonna try and find the right words to try and say what I feel about this movie. It is absolute nonsense. I mean, I didn't realise until today that it was actually based on a comic book. I could kind of guess from what I know about the movie just through other culture. Same with all of these classic movies that I watch. I get the gist of it, but this I got quite a bit wrong. Like, I go into these movies kind of assuming what I'm going to be seeing and, give myself a little pat on the back when I get these things right. But this just it absolutely blew my mind. I mean, yeah, it's based on a comic book from the 1930s, I believe. I was under the assumption that going into this, I knew that this Emperor Ming character was attacking Earth for whatever reason, and Flash Gordon, I thought he was chosen to be like the saviour. I thought they looked at this guy who plays American football. He's a big strapping fella, good morals and all that, stand-up American kind of guy. And I thought he was chosen to kind of lead that charge. And I was under the impression that he was chosen and given some kind of power, given some kind of, not necessarily superpower, but, advanced in some way and then sent off to fight this war. But no, it was completely the opposite. He's a football star coming home from his holiday, gets into a plane, ends up having to crash land it with the lady that he's on the plane with, who they'd only just met, by the way. Jumping forward, spoiler alert, but they literally just met, and 2 days later they were engaged. I know he's a great guy and all that, and that hair, you'd be wrong not to fall in love with a guy, but seriously, 2 days of everything, I'll get emotions run high. But yeah, they crash land outside of this scientist's lab, and inside this lab, he's got a rocket. See, this is what I mean. This movie just escalates straight away. There's no, build up. There's no explanation. Ming's attacking the Earth, and all of a sudden they're in a rocket, that this guy had in his lab. But the jump from this scientist who was clearly, he was crazy. Everyone assumed that he was crazy because he had this theory about these other beings that are attacking the Earth, but no one believed him. But he forced Flash Gordon and the lady onto the rocket by gunpoint because he couldn't fly the rocket alone. He had to go up there to try and work out what was going on. he forced them by gunpoint, and they took off and ended up in Ming's palace, and then they're all friends. You know, Flash Gordon, this Dr. Zorkian or something, I don't know, he's got some crazy, just mad name that you'd make up if you was a child and you was writing a comic book. Maybe a child did write this comic book, I don't know. But yeah, him and the Lady Dale, they're all friends all of a sudden, and they're all, you know, holding arms and linking arms and trying to look after each other. It's mad. It's just, the escalation there is just ridiculous. But, you know, this Ming is a tyrannical leader of these planets, and, you know, they all have their own princes and their own societies, but they're all ruled by this Ming, who's just a murderous dictator. And Flash doesn't like this. You know, he's, no, Ming, no, I don't appreciate the way you're doing this, even though I've been here 5 minutes. And he tries to fight off, you know, Ming's guards, and then beats them very easily. And yeah, just because he's true American grit, you know, gung-ho, which just, it's bonkers. It really is bonkers. Just like I say, I assumed going in that he'd be enhanced in some way, but he's not. He's just a guy, and he starts fighting in this intergalactic war that he kind of starts. You know, everyone they're under the rule of this Ming, but they're like, do you know what? Just don't upset him, and he won't kill you. You know, he kills a man pretty quickly, but that's the only sort of bad thing that I see him do throughout the movie, I think. And yet, everyone suddenly turns, they're like, yeah, Flash Gordon, I'm with you, let's overthrow this dictator. And, you know, they was all just kind of going along with it, and I get it. You know, you don't want to be under a dictator's rule, but it all kind of kickstarts when Flash Gordon turns up and starts kicking some butt. It escalates very, very quickly. You know, and then they capture Flash Gordon and kill him. But Ming's daughter is a traitor, and she brings Flash Gordon back to life because she's a horn dog, essentially. She comes on to at least 4 people during this movie. She's leading one prince on because she can get what she wants. She leads on a doctor. She leads on Flash. I'm pretty sure she does it with someone else. I think she's, you know, going with Ming's right-hand guy at some, but I don't know. It's absolute crazy. Like, she's literally just a horn dog, and that's all she wants. She just uses her sexuality to get what she wants, and I'm not really sure if that's a good message to send to people, but, you know, that's what she's doing, and she doesn't like her father for some reason. And yeah, it just, like I say, it just escalates. It just keeps going up and up and up. And, you know, Flash Gordon beats death twice, and then he has to fight some guy, you know, for honour. And then, you know, he eventually tries to get back to save the girl that he's only just met because she has to marry me. You know, you probably can't keep up with what I'm trying to say, but I found it very hard to keep up with what was going on in this movie. It was just here, there, you know, this is what's happening here, this is what's happening over there. You know, old Flash Gordon, he's a hero. Let's all band behind him. But I don't like Flash Gordon for whatever reason, even though he's trying to help us for no reason, even though he's only just turned up 5 minutes ago, and the girl that he's only just met 5 minutes before that, he wants to marry her. But Ming wants to marry her. So let's join. I honestly could not keep up, but it was so incredibly schlocky and ridiculous and stupid and everything you'd associate with a bad movie, but for some reason I just could not get enough. It was so... I was laughing through a good 80% of this. I'm not even sure if a lot of it I was supposed to be laughing at. It was just stuff that people were saying. You know, some of the acting was... It was pretty dire. I'll admit it was really bad, but I was laughing. I was in hysterics. And there's tension moments, you know, of genuine sadness. You know, when Flash dies, the lady who just met him 10 minutes ago, she was very upset. But I couldn't help but laugh because she was really, Flash, no! It was so schlocky, but at the same time, you're going to have a good time with this movie. It's incredible I can understand why it's such a classic. I can understand why they wanted to bring it back. I can understand why people enjoy it so much. He changes his outfit. Sorry, quick aside, Flash. At the start, he's wearing the iconic Flash t-shirt. You know, the red lettered Flash across a white t-shirt with a red trim, which is very, very nice. He was wearing that at the beginning. That was his own t-shirt. I get he's a famous football star, but is that his merchandise? That threw me off a little bit. And then at one point, he's in leather shorts. I'm not even going to get into that. And then he puts on a guard's uniform, right, for the big escape. After he's been brought back to life and he has to escape with the princess, who for some reason is helping him out. I still don't understand why. They don't really give that information. You don't really understand her story arc. She's just like, I like sex, I'm a bit of a bitch. That was her arc. I don't get that. But he puts on a guard's uniform to escape. He gets to another planet and he takes a jacket off. And on the shirt that he's wearing underneath is his Flash logo. We see the Flash logo. That shirt that I said about at the beginning, the red Flash, on the back is a logo. That was on the guard's uniform that he's wearing. And you know it's a different t-shirt because it's different colours. And then that same, it's not even it's a vest because, you know, he has to show off his guns. I get that, you know. Then he has a fight with a prince, and then after the fight, he turns it around and he's wearing a different vest, or the same vest but with a different logo on it. And I don't know where that came from. There was no time for a costume change. There was no explanation as to why he got that changed. But for some reason, that's all I could think about for like the next 10 minutes, and it completely brought me out of the movie. A movie, by the way, I'm still enjoying, but this just, I didn't understand what was going on. And then at the end, of course, they win the day. I thought there was going to be a big, spoiler alert, I thought there was going to be a big kind of battle between him and Emperor Ming, who has this power ring, by the way. He has a power ring that can do anything. And all he does is crashes a spaceship through the window and it stabs Ming through the chest. It's hilarious, and it's such an hilarious death scene because he really does milk it. And then he disappears. All of these people, when they die, they just evaporate. That's never explained. And then he evaporates and his ring falls to the floor. But at the end, when everything's said and done, Flash and his girl are arm in arm. They're laughing. They're kissing. They love each other. They're getting married. Did I mention that? They're engaged. They look off into the sunset. And there's a message by Hawkmen saying, "Thanks, Flash." And then it pans back to that ring. Remember the ring that dropped on the floor? And a hand picks it up. And it says, "The end." Question mark. Oh, I was on the edge of my seat. But we never ended up with a sequel, so I don't know who picked that ring up. It was a glove. It was a black gloved hand. So there's no way of knowing who picked that up. But all the kind of main, you know, you had Ming, you had his right-hand man, you had one of his cadets, you know, all of these people that it could have been, they all died, so it's not one of them. So I'd love to see who picked that ring up. Maybe it was the daughter, maybe it was the princess. Maybe that's all she wanted all along, was just a bit of power. What a stupid movie, but what an incredible watch. I loved it. I was laughing. The action was really stupid, but so good. It's from the 1980s. I don't know what I was expecting. The CGI was pretty good. I mean, those Hawkmen, when they were flying, that actually looked believable to an extent. But yeah, I did enjoy this. It was fun, and it was a welcome reprieve from everything that's going on briefly. So yeah, I definitely recommend watching Flash Gordon. If not only for the soundtrack. I mean, we all know that Flash Gordon has that soundtrack by Queen. And if you don't like Queen, there's something wrong with you. This movie, just for that soundtrack, is worth every penny. Yeah. Do it. Watch it. It's mad. if you enjoyed this video, feel free to give me a like and maybe subscribe to my channel. I'm slowly going up in followers, and I really appreciate it. And I love talking to people that watch my videos as well. I really appreciate some of the comments that I got last week. You know, a lot of people checking in to see if I was okay. I am okay. It was just a very emotional time. You know, I was very tired, and I'm a very emotional person, so these emotions really do get to me. So, yeah, I appreciate that. But if you want to subscribe to my channel, I'd love that. Let's have some feedback. Let's have some comments. We'll have a nice conversation about Flash Gordon and how ridiculous, stupid it is. But the first thing I'm going to do when I have money is buy that Flash Gordon t-shirt, because that is iconic. Thank you for watching. I'll speak to you next week. Goodbye.